duplicate of her bow, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. They became known simply as Furies.
What do you consider a sin?
I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible scenarios. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations. The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to uphold it. Curious, is it not?
Doesn't seem like you've been upholding it either.
Enough. You clearly know nothing.
How do you know when people sin?
I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes.
Is Proserpina connected to the statues in the same way?
If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask?
No reason.
Then what an odd question.
Seen some terrible things here that you didn't consider a sin. How could you let them happen?
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me an example?
Suicide.
I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others.
I disagree.
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
I'm right and you know it.
Then your desire to be right outweighs your desire to survive. You will make a fine statue. Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with that primitive weapon? How dare you threaten her? This ends now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
One will suffer each.
Didn't you say, seize your crown? What the fuck now?
No, you vile, despicable creature.
I don't know what. I really don't know what. Okay, the save is good. We're gonna speed it up.
And here the Greeks refined it with... Very well. That is mere... when top there, Drake, see, she, well, she, but I took, and I, but that.
I do speak a lot.
As you, do you plan to speak in sweeping general?
Price gouging for life-saving medicine.
The merchant. How is that inconsistent with the rule I've outlined?
He wouldn't want someone else to demand an outrageous price for the medicine he needed if he was dying.
I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway.
You can't know what he would expect, you just speculate.
Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation.
Doesn't it make it inherently subjective and unreliable?
Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man.
And you think you know the minds of other people?
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
I'm right in know it.
Then your desire to be right, you will make a... Do you really think you...
Seize my crown.
Pathetic.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Chamber seize my crown. I'm supposed to run. I can't kill him. Break the chamber and run. I'll also exploit all other conversations too, before I go. Take Proserpina's crown. I took it. So you need to take the crown. And loop it, but what's gonna happen?
And here you... And what the day first? That is me. This did but the road it is yet. But I took and do you plan to speak in sweeping?
Scam.
Ah, the tavern keeper, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
She wouldn't want someone else to sell her hemlock if she thought she was buying a means of escape.
I disagree. Having watched that tavern keeper, that is precisely what she would expect from others. She would view it as a game, one she intends to win. Now tell me, what others...
The bondage.
You speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
He wouldn't want to be trapped in a 30-year labor contract because of a loan.
And he would never have signed a contract pledging his labor for 30 years. All he did was enforce the terms of a contract signed voluntarily by others.
The whole concept of debt bondage, like slavery, is unethical. It's illegal under international law where I'm from.
Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority, this is interesting. I'm curious, how do people escape poverty where you're from?
Customary to take out a loan to buy a house, and in some places to pay for an education.
I see. And how long might it take such a person to repay their debt?
Typically decades.
I fail to see how your system of loans is significantly different to a debt bondsman signing over his labor for 30 years. Now tell me, what others...
Experiments on the golden statues.
The midwife in the palace, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
She wouldn't want to be experimented upon if she was gilded.
The rule is do unto others, meaning other people. Those statues are something else now. Bloodless shadows, mere shapes of their former selves. They are forsaken. What happens to them is no concern of mine. Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. A literal interpretation helps to minimize the ambiguities of your primitive language.
If our language is full of ambiguity, doesn't that make the rule inherently subjective and unreliable?
Supposing you're right, then my lord... Now tell me,
No wonder people say the gods are cruel. They just show how unreliable and subjective your moral code is. You're no better at judging right from wrong than any other human.
do you honestly think you could do better?
No, but that's my point. Nobody grasps of right and wrong is so perfect they can be trusted with all this power. You become a tyrant.
I should strike you down for that.
And if you did, you'd be proving my point.
Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning? I give your and so you, but as if she was still then what? Very
That's all I have.
good. Then now it is time for your reckoning. Only, it seems, something is wrong. It has long been within my power to see to the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. But when I peer into you, I see only a blank slate, as if you did not exist until you appeared in this city. How is this possible? Charon, where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here?
I'm from the future.
If that is true, then I sense the intervention of someone powerful.
How did you come to be in this time, mortal? Who brought you here?
Zerpina did. Let's do it, whatever. I got saves.
That would explain why you first appeared in her shrine. But how is that possible? She has slumbered for 3,000 years.
She's awake, in fact she's using the statues to whisper to me.
You would have me believe that all this time she has been deceiving me, and that you are the pawn she has chosen to undermine me? Then she has chosen poorly, because you are clearly a fool. However, you will make a fine statue. Do you really think you...
It always ends up the same.
Pathetic.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
You vile, despicable creature.
The crown is a bit bugged. This is a Hercules ending. Because he escaped like this. Okay, now we're gonna end it.
And here you are. No gull to the cement, but the one, and what that they would first. That is. That is very my. That is when I. In very... My... My... The... As you... That you... But... As... To... Of... Go. Carol. Wait. You would have... That's Carol.
Perhaps. The waters of the River Lathe are known to have that effect.
I will take... But as long as your past remains shrouded in mystery, why have you come here?
I'd like to put an end to the golden rule.
Your hubris is amusing, so I will allow you to make your case. But I warn you, if you anger me or waste my time with lies or wrong-headed arguments, you face death here. So, tell me, why should I put an end to the so-called golden rule?
You're doing this for love. You should know that Proserpina doesn't love you. How can you expect us to live without sin if you can't do it yourself? The golden rule is corrupting the city and ensuring you'll never win the wager.
How so? And be specific. You have made a grave allegation, and I expect you to back it up.
Fuck. Decius is price gouging for life-saving medicine because he knows nobody can take it by force. Raphius has become so paranoid that he's jumping at shadows like Werglia's sexuality. Aurelia exploiting people desperation to escape by selling them hemlock. Malleus has trapped people in debt bondage by convincing them that rebelling would break your law.
True. I have witnessed him doing that. He is a volatile and confused... I admit. His cruelty does seem to... If you're right, my involvement has corrupted the very thing I sought to observe impartially. But if I were to accept that, are you telling me these humans could coexist peacefully, without theft or violence, without my law?
No, but humans need to be able to use of force in exceptional circumstances to correct their societies.
How so?
We use violence to discourage bad behavior, to neutralize criminals and overthrow tyrants.
And how is that working for you?
Where I'm from, 2000 years in the future, it's working pretty well. On average, life expectancies are climbing and crime rates are declining.
So you say, and yet your world is still imperfect.
Our world will always be imperfect, but the kind of force required to create a utopia will inevitably result in tyranny.
You have spoken eloquently, and yet, if what you say is true, it follows that my wager was fatally flawed from the beginning. But that would mean Jupiter, Proserpina's father, who knew more about you than anyone, proposed a wager I could never win. Why would he do that?
He made a mistake too. He wanted you to abandon the wager so Proserpina would be free from you. He felt threatened by you and didn't want a potential challenger in Elysium. He left you behind because even your own kin didn't want you.
Your hubris grows tiresome. You will make a fine
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Stupid bug with a crown! Yo, my son, let's see what's gonna happen. Come on. The fuck happens with the loot now? And what I do with the crown? Paolo Sanchez back to the shrine, use his portal again. The fuck, man.
Salve, friend. Oh. Yulia. What? Alright. I'll go.
What a flying fuck with a crown now. Where do I use the crown? What do I use it for? That's still not the ending. Will he realize we already talked if I go and talk to him again? Or he's in a time loop also. Questions, questions. Time to find out. Which one was this? She doesn't have a crown anymore, I think. She's without a crown.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself.
He's in a time
As you
loop
have already
also.
gathered, no gold, but the one constant. And I've been watched. And what is more, that there will be first.
See this? It's Proserpina's crown. Bro.
I would recognize that anywhere. And yet my beloved still wears hers. What is this? How did you come by it?
I took it from her after I killed her in another timeline.
You vile, despicable creature. Why would you do such a thing? And worse still, boast about it.
I didn't want to kill her. If you don't put an end to the golden rule, I will do it again.
You have put me in an impossible position. If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium humiliated and alone.
That's the idea.
Perhaps you are cleverer than you appear, mortal. I do not see that I have a choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing I've witnessed in 3,000 years. And now you have shown me your species' true colors. And I see that Proserpina was a fool to have ever believed in you at all. This has gone on too long.
Psycho
It's time
achievement
for me to
unlocked.
let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this, if I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend.
Why can't we go to Elysium?
Because despicable creatures like you have no place there. My kin would never allow it. The best I can do is return you to the land of the living. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest.
Why?
Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place, and you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready? You had best pray our paths never cross again, mortal.
Herculean task complete. All worked again. Different spot this time. Funny. Very funny.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time, learning about the history of this place, and it is extraordinary. I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city for about 2,000 years. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently, there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden Rule. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the 1,000 people who'd lived here before them. Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good harvest at the shrine of Proserpina, an oracle appeared and told him how to solve the ills of the city, like saving the life of a dying woman, foiling an assassination attempt, and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to him. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him and the other people who lived here? What happened to all the golden statues? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years?
Actually, it was me.
What? Oh, I see. For a moment there, I thought you were serious. Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city. Follow me.
We're fucking real. We're out. Return to the river. Man, this place looks weird. Proserpina shrine.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever lured into this temple.
Good idea.
You go on ahead. I'll be there soon. You go on ahead.
Charon again. Oh, better to say that's Proserpina.
You're back! But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al?
I found him. He'll be here in a moment.
Ah, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
You discovered you're not who you said you were. I remember meeting you 2,000 years ago.
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
Who are you?
You can just call me Charon, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned. from 5,000 years of experience. That most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time. That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living to the land of the dead.
How did I die?
Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma. Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know?
Yes.
As you wish. You were murdered. You were falsely accused of a terrible crime, and fled into the wild to evade your accusers. On your final night, you were offered sanctuary in the cottage of a stranger who gave you food and money, including, by accident, a coin of ancient origin. Unfortunately, you were apprehended and attacked by authorities. Your host leapt to your aid. You both fought bravely, but your assailants were armed, and you were not. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Charon's Opal by some, and so it was my duty to bring you here.
Pluto said the coins Al and I had were the last in existence. What does that mean for you?
It means I am now bereft of purpose. There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course.
What's so special about these coins?
Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths to pay the ferryman for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins and had me distribute them across the world. My orders were simple. Whenever a person died in possession of a coin, I was to locate them and ferry them here.
Pluto mentioned that my coin was the last in existence. What does that mean for you?
It means I am now. There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years,
I already said that.
the
Can you return us to the land of the living?
I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an oracle who confronted a god and undid an ancient curse.
Sounds like quite a story, and I look forward to hearing all about it. But you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Getting us home. A year late. What? Ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, summer, reception hall, private member wing.
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read about your trial in the news. Congratulations on your acquittal. Still, I'm sorry you had to go through all that. Anyway, after everything you've been through, I thought you might appreciate some good news. So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius' tablet, and I found something strange. I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you, I just really wanted you to see this for yourself. Why don't you head on down there? I'll catch up with you at the other end.
All different endings. Galerius.
Oh, there he is.
A relief of preserving. Their own goddess of cycle of life and renewal.
You're finally here. Remember me? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Karen appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me, but I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second chance at life.
You're with a Quitia now.
I know! I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged and living together. We're planning to get married next spring. If you're gonna be around, we'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
Oh, I used Karen's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you, so you better keep moving.
The Oracle achievement unlocked. There's Dooley. Oh shit.
You're here. It's lovely to finally meet you. Galerius told me all about you. So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the last of the Roman gods. As I'm a priestess, you realize you've put me out of work. I'm just teasing. Actually, and it still feels a little sacrilegious to say this, I'm finding life after religion quite enjoyable.
How's Livia?
Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely. In fact, she's here somewhere. Galerius and I are engaged and expecting. We've just bought a lovely villa in the countryside with room for a large family. And Dooley too, of course. It feels like the world has just opened up for us. There's so much to learn, and so many more possibilities for our children than we ever imagined. We're just so thankful for what you did for us. See you.
Hello, I'm Dooley. Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper. Thank you for getting us out of the bad place. I didn't like
It's
it.
you.
I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. They look after me now and help me remember when I forget things, like brushing my teeth. Bye-bye.
Whatever. Horatio.
Hey.
Sentia. Lucretia.
Hello.
Julia.
Hi there.
I still haven't found out what happened with her sister.
Evening.
Roman shield, cavalry helmet, Apollo statue.
Hi there.
You're the Oracle, right? Oh, of course, sorry. And I never got a chance to thank you for telling Galerius how to save my life. And of course, getting me and all of us out.
What happened to Malleus and Claudia?
Last I heard, Malleolus kept insisting he was the last rightful ruler of the Roman Empire, and wound up being committed to a psychiatric hospital. As for Claudia, she was always so viciously unhappy. Someone said she'd blown all her money on wine, trying to drink herself back to the underworld. After the horrific way they treated Ulpius and me, I can't help feeling a sense of... what's that German word? Schadenfreude? Thank you.
And to Aurelia?
Ugh. Someone told me she was boasting about getting her claws into some rich prince, and how she was going to be living the high life from now on. Even in your time, life still isn't fair. Apparently, he'd proposed before they'd even met. And last I heard, she'd bought herself a first-class, one-way ticket to join him in some exotic place called... what was it? Nigeria? Some people have all the luck. Well, you are the Oracle. Huh. Oh, I'm living in a house share in London with my wonderful girlfriend. And I'm studying English at university. Eventually, I want to travel the world and write about it. Turns out, it's about 30 times bigger than the Roman Empire ever was. Did you know there are entire continents Rome never knew existed? And you can travel almost anywhere in an aircraft, which is rather like flying on a Pegasus, but much more comfortable. Oh, sorry, you already know all that, of course. I'm just so excited. There's so much to see and learn and write about. I have noticed people from your time have no idea how fortunate they are. I hope to change that. One day. You too! If you're ever in London, let me know. We can go to bars and drink wine and listen to the stories of the 9 million people who live there. I hope.
You are here. It's nice to finally meet you. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone. Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I hear you drove the last of them off. So... I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the responsibility of keeping everyone in the city alive, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudgingly, one patient at a time. You too.
Hi there, I'm Horatius. I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life, and reuniting Scintilla with us as well. So, thank you.
What do you mean reuniting Scintilla?
I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. I'm going to be an officer one day. The world's changed a lot, but some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tactics from my time? Alexander the Great, Caesar, Hannibal Barca. Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. As Seneca wrote, the ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides. Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. I grieved for a time, but that's done. In the words of Epictetus, as those who rode behind triumphant generals remind them they are mortal, remind yourself your precious one isn't one of your possessions, but something given for now, not forever. Thanks. He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. Good one. He had more trouble adapting than most. He got himself disqualified from the UFC, so he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament, like we had in Rome. Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch of men like that. But his luck finally ran out, and his life along with it. You know what they say.
That's the gladiator.
By the sword, die by the sword. You're not wrong. And you.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming. Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated with Sentius after what happened. I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time. But he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again.
So he was keeping his own daughter in the upper cistern. We need to check that thing also. But that's a huge fucking spoiler. I think I got the final ending like this, so I'm missing 2 endings. I got the first ending, and this is probably the 4th ending, the best ending. I'm missing 2 endings in the middle. That's why the spoilers.
He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell, slowly losing his mind until the end of time. Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me.
So he is the last golden statue.
Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please. Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for me, because it's just awful out there. Barbarians everywhere. You too. See you.
The hermit philosopher. Who the fuck is he?
I take it you're the oracle everybody's talking about. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
We met before.
We have. I'm sorry, I don't remember. In any case,
Philip.
I'm Philip. I never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century. What a time to be alive. And it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it. I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks once again.
Jesus.
You're the one we've been waiting for. I'm Fabia. I wanted to say thanks for sending Galerius to save my life. I don't know how you knew, but I would have been crushed by that shrine for sure. I'm just so happy to be here with you and everyone together again, even if it's just for one more night. Well, it's not like I have to work with all the silver Charon gave me, so I just do what makes me happy. Mostly that means baking for my friends and looking at memes while binging TV shows in yoga pants. What a time to be alive.
So Charon made them all rich.
Thank you.
Charon made them all rich.
You too.
Greetings. You must be the legendary Oracle. It is a sincere privilege to finally make your acquaintance. I am Georgius. I am told we have you to thank for freeing us from Hades, and for that, I am most grateful. I am reacquainting myself with Greece. It has changed so much over the last 2000 years, I barely recognize it. This is at once heartbreaking and thrilling. Perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down in Santorini in a villa overlooking the Azure Aegean Sea. I hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you faced
It's
off
not
against the
Aegean
fearsome
Sea, it's
god of the
Adrian Sea.
underworld. And one
Greece is on the Adrian Sea.
You too, my friend.
Good evening.
Oh, hello. It's lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you. I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit the likes of us. But thank you for coming and for saving our lives. What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it. I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber, not far from my old place. Oh, and I'm training to be a crisis counselor. After you sent Galerius to persuade Ulpius not to take his own life, I was inspired. I just want to spend the rest of my life helping people, like you helped him. Thank you. I'm living in... And you... Wonderful.
Greetings.
I'll leave you.
Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I never once imagined that I might end up in a place so much like Elysium. I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while, at least until I'm well enough to be independent again. Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I have 2,000 years worth of poetry to catch up on now. I'm already up to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I may have found a kindred spirit. Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence. And you?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Some soiree, innit?
Please keep up the furniture.
Ah, hello at last. You must be the oracle I've heard so much about. I'm Dacius. Listen, I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old relics I accumulated. Whatever you did in that temple made me a very wealthy man. Thank you. Such acerbic wit. I love it. I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now. In fact, I was hoping to ask your advice, you being the oracle and future seer and all that, on which stocks I should invest in next. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you recommend?
Won't help you even if I lose.
Don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't take no for an answer.
DVD rentals have a bright future. Broadcast television is gonna be the next big thing. Print media is going to make a huge comeback.
Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing.
Everything that's gonna go to
As
shit.
much stock as I can tonight. I'm gonna make a bloody fortune. Of course.
Nah, you're not. Kapash.
What is up?
Statue of Kurt.
It is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle. You know my name? Oh, of course. You are an Oracle. You know many things. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place, and for your role in bringing us here. This world is truly wondrous. For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another fisherman, and I came to see there is nothing for me there. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. It is a great adventure, and I have met many people from many cultures. I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, I think it is time I had some fun. Indeed. Thank
Anubis. Raphael's version. Don't fucking tell me.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I go by Rufus now. New start, new name. Oh, and thanks, by the way, for what you did. Sorry, I'm no good with the mushy stuff. I live with Virgil in Rotterdam, not far from where he grew up. It's very
fucking knew it.
Modern. Destroyed in the war, and it rebuilt itself. Good place for a fresh start. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with my life yet. One adjustment at a time. Huh. Good to know. Anyway, it was good practice for the new world. Security cameras and smartphones everywhere. Got to stay vigilant. You too.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out of there and for helping Rufus come to terms with himself. He may come off a little gruff, but once you get past that, he's a lovely fellow. I'm studying to be an architect again and living with Rufus in our beautiful flat in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets full of educated, accepting people. You natives of the 21st century have no idea. You too, as Rufus, if you're ever in the Netherlands.
We got the message. We got the message of the game. We are very happy to live in the 21st century. That's the message of a game.
Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. You didn't hear? My adoptive father, Sentius, locked me up in the upper cistern to stop me from escaping.
So even you survived. I never met her.
Proserpina came and released me, and that monster got what was coming to him.
I never met her.
Don't worry, nobody did. I'm living with Ulpius on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's even more wonderful than I dreamed it would be. I'm so grateful to you for making sure he's still with us. If you're ever passing through the region, I hope you'll come and visit us. You can try some of our very own wine. Thanks. You too.
Ulpius.
It's nice to finally put a face to the name. I'm Ulpius. I understand I have you to thank for sending Galerius to save my life. The way you just showed up out of the blue and stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I'll be forever in your debt. I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. We finally bought the little vineyard we always dreamed of. It'll be a little while before we know what we're doing, but every day I look at her and this extraordinary new world with all its beauty, and I think, what if I'd given up hope and missed out on all of this? So we're living each day to the fullest. And we end them all the same way, sitting together on our terrace with a glass of our wine, which the locals say is almost drinkable now, and watching the sunset over the rolling hillside. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you. You too.
All items from the game. Navia is not here. I don't know what happened with Navia.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
Proserpine.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long, long time. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention.
You were whispering to me all along.
Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected.
What you could. You created a time loop.
I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath.
What became of Pluto?
I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way.
And Karen?
Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day. And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city?
Yeah.
Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Anubis would be proud.
The canon ending, I got the best ending, ending number 4. So what the fuck is ending 2 and 3 then? It doesn't matter, to be honest, this is the best ending, the only proper ending. I can do ending 2 and 3 because of the achievements only, but they probably suck. Very, very good game. If you can call it a game. I can't call it a game. Hope you enjoy the Forgotten City. A lot to make even better games in the future. You can help by recommending the Forgotten City to a friend, writing a review. The more people play our games, the more we can level up. You'll be the first to know when we announce our next project. Please connect with us here. Man, I got the fucking canon ending immediately. Hilarious. We can check the only thing I missed in the game, but I don't know what's the third ending then. There is a door here that I can check out.
Salve, friend.
But if I do this ending, then what's the one I'm missing? The key should unlock this. Here we fucking go. Figure out how to get in the upper system. There she is. Her father locked her up. Golden statues. And I know where that thing leads to. Heart of gold. Shut up!
You? Who are you? Did he send you?
Yeah.
Do you know you're here? You have to help me escape before that monster comes back. I'm Scintilla. I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up.
She found a way
To
out.
keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key.
We need the key.
Sentius, my adoptive father. Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him. I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either. Behind me, there's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key. I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the golden rule. I just want out. Help me, and we can escape together. There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What
This
do
is
you
a
say?
selfish ending. Very selfish ending. But I'll let you go, everyone else is gonna die. What if I round up everyone so they're ready to escape once the golden rule is broken?
There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. Quick, you have to let me go. It's now or never. Oh, thank you. Now follow. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. He must be coming in through the door behind me. You distract him. Stay right here and keep him talking while I look for something I can use.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she?
You're human garbage, you know that.
So that is how it's going to be. Oh well, this doesn't change anything for me. It's a shame, really. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, you'd have been looping through time forever until you gave up and killed yourself. Just like that soft-hearted pleb, Al.
No. We're fucking real.
Come now. Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's intention or a happy accident, I'll never know. But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was thinking you're a little bit sharper than Al was. Or perhaps you're just more willing to break the rules. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times before we finally had this conversation. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled, a little more haunted. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck, and took his own life, just before he was shot with a golden arrow. The next time I awoke, you showed up, but you've caught up to where he was so quickly. I'd have preferred if you'd given me more time to enjoy the trappings of my success. How many extra days did you give me? Just the 9? Not a lot compared with Al, but I've seized every day, nonetheless. In any case, there's no escape for you except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. What was it? Ah, yes. Better to end it all now than find out what awaits you beyond that portal. So, You discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it?
Why did you lock up your own daughter?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I get to enjoy it all, over and over again, for eternity. Don't you see? I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely, to cheat death. I have become, in effect, as immortal as the gods. Can you honestly say you would not wish the same for yourself? Of course. There's no way you could have succeeded. Every soul who has ever found themselves here has broken the golden rule eventually. It is inevitable. Man will always sin sooner or later. Any idiot could tell you this. But where others might see tragedy, I saw opportunity. As I told you the first time we met, I found a way to cheat death. By reliving the same day over and over again forever. And I will continue living long after your dust.
You cheat your way out of this.
Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bow? Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
Holy shit.
The many shall suffer
I have his
for the sins
Make
of
it
the
over the
one.
gate. Come on, we have to go. Hey, what's happening to you? That light, it's so bright.
Paradox. She's got a key now, so I need to go to her again. No. Oh, what?
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al.
You're a failure, Al.
Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I was hoping you know who I am.
Funny you should ask. I was just reading an old tablet I found here. Well, trying. My Latin is kinda rusty, but the last entry mentioned someone with the same name. It described an event about 2,000 years ago. Someone with your name appeared in the city out of the shrine of Proserpina. Freed an imprisoned woman named Scintilla, who then murdered her captor, breaking some kind of ancient law. It said the attack caused golden statues to come alive, hunting down everyone in the city and turning them into gold. Apparently, the only person to survive was Scintilla, while the stranger disappeared in a flash of light. What? You're saying you were here 2,000 years ago? I'm not sure I understand. I'm sorry, come again? Let me see that. God, why does this writing look so familiar? I've spent a lifetime in this place going around and around in circles. This is disturbing, but I don't understand how I could have written it. I'm not following. So you're saying, because a man from 2,000 years ago is dead, he never created a time portal, so I never went through it, and that's why I don't remember any of this. I guess you saved my life then, as well as helping that poor woman to escape. That's a lot to take in. Maybe we can escape through the same aqueduct Scintilla used, if we can find it.
What the fuck will happen now? Will I meet Karen again? Al is not with us, but... And now he's doing it again.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure.
But God knows how the ending will be.
You go on.
You're back! But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al? Oh, what a relief. Why do...
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You can just call me Carol. I do not...
That's all the same.
That you died of
That's
my...
all the same.
Most soul, ask your... A wise decision. All you need to know is that you and Al died in possession of a... It means there is... Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans bearing the...
All the same, all of this.
It means there is nobody else. I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you.
Kinda lost track of time and there was a tap, supposedly. My new friend here. I know how...
Maybe not...
How could you...
She left it, I think, here.
I don't know what became of you, or if you'll ever read this, but I want you to know that I will never forget you, or what you did for me. It pains me that so many dear friends were not so fortunate. Ulpius, Sentia, Lucretia, Horatius, Galerius, poor Dooley, and the others. But please understand, their blood is on my hands, not yours. I will live with the consequences of my actions, and all I can do is move forward, trying to show others the same compassion you showed me. I promise you that saving my life will not be for nothing. Scintilla.
A very shitty ending. They all die.
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your story, but first, you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you?
This is the second ending, so what the fuck is the third ending? I got the first, second, and fourth. This is a very selfish ending. Don't know what could be the third ending, to be honest. I have no fucking clue what can be the third ending. Maybe refuse to help. That's the only thing that comes up on my mind. That's the only thing I haven't picked. Let me see. But that means I need another time loop. If it happens. We'll speed it up through conversation. That ain't important that much. I did everything, yeah. Unlock the upper cistern with Dali's key, that's that. Figure out what happened, that's that. How to get to the upper... All of that is upper cistern. All three of those quests are done after I enter. The god of the underworld, those would be different endings only. So I've seen every fucking quest there is. Everything is done. I'll know by the achievements also. That's the easiest way to know. A very selfish ending, the previous one. Extremely selfish.
You are...
But what do I fucking care? I already got the best ending.
Do you know you're... I'm said you want... I don't... But the only... I'm... There won't... There's...
If I let you go, everyone else is gonna die.
What? No. You can't just leave me here.
Too dangerous. Let me see if I can persuade Sentries to let you go. Rational. Our escape isn't worth the lives of everyone here.
I hate you. I spit.
Confront Sentius about his abduction of Scintilla. Interesting. Let's confront. The only thing I never seen is what happens to Navia inside here. They never show, they never say anything about her. Like she never existed. That's a weird thing. Where are you?
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
We're finally alone. Is that... Seems...
I know what you did to Scintilla.
Me? What are you...
You're keeping her tied up in the cistern.
You know, you remind me of him. Al Worth. The fellow who came through the portal before you.
You remember him?
Come now. Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves...
We already know that.
But I'm surprised you hadn't
We already know that.
He was a moralistic,
yeah.
And because of that fatal flaw, I
okay,
watched him.
we already seen it.
Finally saw the next time. I mean, 10 most. And yet, all those... Because there's no... So, you discovered my secret. So what?
There was a way out even locked up your water. Why?
Why? Isn't it obvious?
Okay, because you've grown attached,
and
you
why would
leave.
I agree to that?
It's the right thing to do. If you don't hand it over, you might have an uprising on your hands. It's the right thing to do.
You and your pathetic morality. Nobody cares about your opinions or what happens, where you're from. Least of all, me. Understand that to me, you've never been anything more than a useful idiot, and you're no longer useful.
You don't hand it over, you might have an uprising.
You might want to think that through. If anyone so much as touches me, everyone dies.
What's to stop me from taking it by force?
The only way you're getting this key is over my dead body. And if I die, I won't be able to open the portal for you again, meaning you'll have created a paradox. You see, it was my actions that brought you to this point in time. So if you kill me, you'll stop me from doing so, and you being here will be an impossibility. That means if I die, you'll be flung back to your original time, having caused the deaths of everyone here, and you'll never be able to undo it. Is that what you want? I certainly hope not. In fact, I want it to go on and on forever, until you wither and die like Al did, and the gods send yet another useful idiot to extend my life for me. What are you going to do? Beg the gods for help? They don't care about you, and not... Now, get out.
Oh, don't mind
Super
me.
fucking real, what now?
I wish...
I found her.
What? Is this some kind of crude commoner joke?
It's no joke.
No, surely not. Father, is this true?
I'm afraid it is.
I don't understand. Why? Why would you do such a thing?
Because she found a way out. And if you're wondering why I'm telling you this, it's because you're never going to remember any of it. All I have to do is commit a sin, and the day will begin again. Watch this. I'm going to kill you now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Fucking hell, man. Fucking hell, man. I don't know how to get a third ending. Super Looper.
Salve, friend. Mine?
The golden rule is gonna be broken soon. I need to quietly get everyone except Sentius ready to run into the upper cistern when the ground starts to rumble.
What? That's a big ask. But something tells me you're not kidding. But I doubt I'll be able to gather more than a handful of people.
Man, was this even the right thing to do? I don't know. I fucking don't know. I should have told him to stop the suicide first. Again, it's not the best ending that you can get, but I'll get it. I'll get all four
Salve,
endings.
friend. Oh, sounds... You like... Poor... Alright, I'll go.
That's bad. No. Ah, shit. Okay, we do it like this, and I guess it also ends in Upper Aqueduct.
Some... What?
And we do what?
The 49 melodies fetch again.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
See if he organizes everyone. I've told Galeries to lead everyone here when the golden rule is broken so they can escape too.
How did you know? Wait, did you hear that? He's here. You distract him.
That's the third ending for sure.
While I look for something I can use.
Simple as that.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she? So that is so. You discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it?
I told you I was gonna break it.
Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little... Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
Where's the rest of them now?
The many shall suffer
I have his
for the sins
Make
of
it
the
open the
one.
gate. Come on, we have to go. The others should be right behind us. Hey, what's happening to you?
I think they
That
escaped.
light, it's so bright.
It's not the best ending, it's a good ending. We've seen the best ending, we've seen the worst ending, and we see the most stupid ending. But that best ending is really the best ending. By far.
Well, really. I was just describing. It's apparent. Oh, God. So. I get. Me. I'm gonna. You go.
The only thing that's gonna change is the writing on a tablet. But everything else remains the same.
You're back! Ah, why
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You might that you might that you that it I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing.
Now it's gonna change.
That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what there was a tablet supposedly the city was destroyed when a woman murdered a tyrant with the help of my new friend here. I know how crazy that's.
Maybe not that crazy. That woman.
How could you?
She left a tablet of her own. I think here.
This is gonna change.
I don't know what became of you, or if you'll ever read this, but Octavia, Lucretia, Horatius, Equitia, and I
They survived.
will never forget you, or what you did for us. It pains us that so many of our dear friends were not so fortunate.
Some of them survived.
Including Ulpius and Galerius, who heroically tried to rescue Dooley, but never made it back. But there is no point dwelling on what might have been. All we can do is take this
More than a
gift you've
have
given
died.
us and try to show others.
This is like a
Sounds like you meant a lot to her.
semi-selfish ending.
I'd love to hear your story, but you two look exhausted.
Sounds good.
And you?
And that will be the third ending. We've seen all endings. Now I'm gonna check the achievements. And see what I did. We got all 4 endings. All in all, a very good game. Very, very good. Let us see the achievements. I got 29 out of 40 achievements in 11.8 hours. Say in 11 hours because I was making pauses. 11 hours to have all 4 endings. Italian plumber. That's something with a toilet. I'm quite sure of it. Use a photobot, whatever. Skip the city tour. You need to start a new game for skip a city tour. Very easy to get though. Talk your way through every possible confrontation. Again, you need a new game. Don't know what's colors. Lie 10 times, that's also easy to get. Finish the game without looping through time once. Is that shit even possible? All you need is a bow. Yeah, it's possible. All you need is a bow. Easy to get. Whatever the fuck is that shot? Striker allergic. Reach the best ending with the smallest number of loops. You need 2 loops for the best ending. You need 1 loop to get all tablets. Rush to Pluto. Reset and end the game. That ain't easy. One, you need to know what you're doing. But overall, easy achievements. Very easy. The ending 3 is like the hardest one to get. It is tricky. Very tricky. All in all, that's gonna be it for today. New game tomorrow. I like the game a lot. If you can even call it a game. I haven't played a game like this since Outer Wilds. So it was very nice. People, new game, new stream tomorrow. Thanks for watching as always, and I wish you all good night.